What is up everybody, I'm hoping you're all well, and I'm back again with the fourth movie review that I'm recording today. Of course, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I'm recording 6 in one day, my voice is going. This is a very painful experience for me. But I'm powering on for you guys, and it's time to talk about the Looney Tunes, who are back in action once again. Not Looney Tunes back in action, although that movie's pretty good and enjoyable. But it's time to talk about the latest sequel, that being Space Jam 2. I've just realised that every movie I saw on Sunday was a sequel. And with the first Space Jam being a nostalgic hit for me, making me feel all warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum whenever I watch it, I was pretty excited to see this movie, although the trailer did definitely give me mixed feelings. But did this movie live up to the heights of the original that I cherished so much as a child? Or am I now just too old to enjoy a Space Jam film? But that's what we're here to talk about, guys, so guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna talk about it. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. So Space Jam 2, A New Legacy is the sequel to Space Jam, a movie which I absolutely loved as a child and I still enjoy very much today, and it stars LeBron James. And in this movie, when LeBron James goes to Warner Brothers for an executive meeting about a project that was created by an algorithm, which he just completely bashes, he does not like it at all because, you know, he's very much a sports guy and doesn't like any sort of this new technology sort of stuff. The algorithm gets offended and then in doing so kidnaps LeBron's son into this whole computer system and then brings LeBron in and basically says, we're going to play a game of basketball for your son. So then he sends him into the world of Warner Brothers to put together a basketball team to take on his basketball team, and then Space Jam basically becomes Space Jam. And I don't know what you're thinking, guys. Josh, doesn't he get sent to Toon World to get the Looney Tunes together to play this basketball game? And you're right, he does get sent to Toon World. However, it's not the same Toon World that you'd come to know or love from the first Space Jam movie. In fact, this whole movie didn't feel like an actual Space Jam movie. And that actually pains me to say because I really enjoyed the first Space Jam. However, I genuinely feel like this movie was just Warner Brothers kind of showing off every single property that they own. Basically trying to create this whole shared universe around every single franchise that they have. Because while this movie does of course feature the Looney Tunes, when he goes to Toon World, the only Toon that he comes across while there is Bugs Bunny, because for some reason, long before Al G. Rhythm had this whole plan to bring LeBron in and build this basketball team, he basically convinced all the Looney Tunes to go around to every other Warner Brothers franchise to start a life there for some reason. I mean, I know the reason. It's so LeBron and Bugs can go around to every single franchise that Warner Brothers have, so they can say, hey, look at this cool thing, and hey, look at this cool thing. However, every single franchise and reference that they kind of go into in this universe would be made for people who were kids in the noughties, essentially, like myself, people who are around my age who grew up with the original. You've got characters who appear in the original animated Justice League series, you've got characters that appear in The Matrix. It's just a very bizarre situation as Bugs and LeBron go around to all these different universes to get their team together. And right from the moment when that happened, that's when I really fell out with this movie then and there. I mean, I didn't completely clock out of the film, I still watched it, I still tried to give it the benefit of the doubt that it could improve, but it honestly didn't. For starters, it didn't make any sense for the Toons to not be on Toon World and Al G. Rhythm to have sent them around the Warner Brothers universe. It's purely there so Warner Brothers can say, hey, look at this cool stuff that we own. Yeah, you like all this stuff, don't you? Look, here's Pennywise. Look, here's Game of Thrones. Look, the Iron Giant. Still waiting on a sequel for that one, by the way. But that's all that was really there for. And annoyingly, while this whole trip around the Warner Brothers universe sounds like a fun idea in concept or in writing, they didn't execute it well in this movie. I mean, even the laughs that you're supposed to get from these moments and these character interactions were just plain forced, in my opinion. I didn't like any of it. And I can't say it's because I've grown up and I've grown out of the Looney Tunes humor, because I still watch the original Looney Tunes today and I still find them very entertaining and very enjoyable. Like I said, the first Space Jam I still really enjoy. Looney Tunes Back in Action, the movie with Brendan Fraser, I also really enjoy. So it isn't because I've matured and my humor towards the Looney Tunes has just disappeared, evaporated or anything like that. I just feel like the writing for this movie was terrible. And I feel like the main reason for that is because the main storyline focuses on LeBron James trying to get his son back. And that's where the main sort of stakes are. You're focusing on these two characters, whereas in the first movie, the stakes were all on the Looney Tunes. They had to go out and find a basketball player to help teach them how to play basketball, so that they didn't have to get kidnapped off of their world and become prisoners on a alien world. This was purely about LeBron and his son, and while I don't have a big issue with that, the stakes just didn't feel all that powerful, because the stakes get upped when the algorithm sort of brings everyone who watches the live stream of this game into this world and then says, right, so if the Looney Tunes lose, then everyone who's been brought here is going to be trapped here forever, and the Looney Tunes will get deleted. And that sort of stipulation just felt very forced to raise the stakes, and I didn't feel like it was really necessary. Just like I didn't feel like it was necessary for the Looney Tunes to be scattered around and brought together. The writing for this movie just felt very messy, and personally LeBron James's performance just felt dull and wooden. I didn't feel like he really cared about being in this movie. I feel like this movie was more of a trailer to advertise what Warner Brothers owns. This movie was basically a trailer for HBO Max saying, look at all this stuff that you can watch on HBO Max. So of course they needed a big star to sort of draw people in, and with it being a Space Jam movie, it needs to be sort of basketball based. So who would they go to? They went to LeBron James. In terms of the other performances in this movie, they're all sort of fine, but they're very over the top as you come to expect from a Looney Tunes movie, so I can't really hate on them or anything. Don Cheadle in this movie as the main villain, as Al-G Rhythm, or Algorithm, or, you know, like the bad guy. And to be fair, he was very good in this movie. I actually found him very charismatic. I found him very menacing when he needed to be. He was very funny. His comedic timing is just on point every time. He actually made me laugh a couple of times in this movie. But when a movie's called Space Jam that involves the Looney Tunes, that is probably there to introduce the Looney Tunes to a new era of kids and make the Looney Tunes feel like side characters, then it fails, in my opinion. It also confused me as to why they had LeBron James be animated when he enters the Toon World, when in the original Michael Jordan was not animated. I understand why they did that. It was so they could just have LeBron James stay at home and record his lines within a day or so. But in terms of the universe, it just doesn't make sense, because when the Toons are in the real world, they remain Toons, so when the people go from the real world to Toon World, they remain people. And then when they actually got to the main basketball game, Al-G Rhythm sort of upgrades the Looney Tunes to look more CGI. And while the CGI was good for the movie, I just didn't see the point in it. You could have kept them completely animated. I just feel like this movie could have been better had it focused the main plot be around the Looney Tunes rather than LeBron and his son. I mean, you could still have LeBron's son get kidnapped by Al-G Rhythm to have the stakes raised for LeBron's character to actually help the Looney Tunes win this match. But I generally feel like a Space Jam movie should focus more on the Looney Tunes, and they just felt like side characters in this movie. Now, the idea of actually updating the game of basketball into a sort of video game format obviously makes sense for the world that we live in today. However, that does affect the game in this movie as well, in that a basketball game, you score a basket, you get a certain amount of points, and so the stakes felt real when it was more basket point sort of thing, whereas in this movie there's, I'm trying to say it without spoiling it, but there's power-up bonuses that you can sort of get which kind of up the score, and from the start of the film the bad guys get such a huge score that the stakes just felt ridiculous at the end of the day. Like, if you can get massive scores off of certain moves, then what's even the point? Because then surely the Toons can do something ridiculous and just get massive scores and it boosts back up. It just, the stakes weren't there and weren't executed correctly, in my opinion. And it sucks, because like I said, I wanted this movie to be good. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the first movie, and I was very excited to hear they were doing a sequel. But overall, guys, I have to say, I was very disappointed by this film. I honestly didn't enjoy it as much as I probably should have. And like I said, the CGI was enjoyable. The music itself in the film was fine, I guess. Don Cheadle was my favourite part in this movie, to be honest, and that's really bad to say when you've got the Looney Tunes, who honestly just didn't feel like Looney Tunes. I feel like the writers didn't really know how to use the Looney Tunes or what the Looney Tunes really were. They didn't capitalise on the characteristics of the Looney Tunes overall, and again, they just felt like side characters when they shouldn't have. And it really pains me to say that, guys, but honestly, that's just my thoughts on the movie. I honestly just didn't enjoy this movie. I was very disappointed by it, and personally, I can't recommend you go and see it. Just watch the original. The original movie is just a lot of fun. It focuses on the Looney Tunes more. They actually feel like characters. The stakes feel real. And this movie just felt like an ad for HBO Max. And so, for all those reasons, I have to give Space Jam 2: A New Legacy 1 star. So, Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, have you guys seen it? What were your thoughts about it? Did you enjoy the movie? Do you prefer this one to the first one? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks to those for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and for some more videos just like this one, just subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.